CCD here. If you're watching me right now, you're looking to buy your first metal detector, which is awesome. Metal detecting is so much fun. It's fun for the whole family. You get to meet all kinds of really nice people. You could join metal detecting clubs, and you can go out with your friends and your family, and you'll have years of enjoyment out of metal detecting. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great hobby. I want to talk about buying your first metal detector. Now, there's millions of metal detectors out there, and it can be very confusing on what to buy and what kind of functions and how much to spend, and so I have basically 3 don'ts, and I have about 7 do's. Now, the don'ts are so important that I'm going to call them please don'ts. Now, let's get started. Please don't number 1. Don't buy a metal detector from a sporting goods store. You'll probably only have about 3 options to buy a metal detector. They probably only have 3 or 4 types. Nobody in the store is going to be able to help you buy a metal detector. They have no answers for you, no matter what your questions are. All you're going to have is the box to look at and say, oh boy, this is a cool metal detector, I think I'll get it. No, don't do that. Go to metaldetector.com or akelico.com. These guys online, they have knowledgeable people. They can help you pick out the detector that's right for you, and they'll be able to answer any questions that you have regarding the metal detector that you want to purchase. Please don't number 2. Do not buy a $160 or a $200 metal detector. These metal detectors are basically geared for children, okay? However, if you're a parent and your child shows interest in metal detecting, then by all means, these metal detectors are suitable for children. They'll have hours of fun. You could take them to the park. You could take them to the beach. Once they find their first coin, you'll never get them back in the house. I'll tell you that right now. They'll get hooked immediately. Okay, please don't number 3. Do not spend $800 on your first metal detector. These machines get complicated. Their interfaces get confusing. They're not made for beginner detectorists, okay? You'll be out in the field and you'll be pushing buttons more than you'll be out hunting. So don't spend $800 on this extravagant machine, because it's only going to get frustrating, and it's very confusing at times when you're trying to learn a new machine, okay? The first do, okay? Your first machine should be $350, $400, $450 tops, okay? Don't spend any more than that on your first metal detector. It should have all the features that I'm about to mention, and you'll have years of fun with it without too much confusion. It's just the right machine for the beginner, okay? What you want in a metal detector is basically a turn on and go. You turn the machine on, maybe you check your ground balance, your volume, turn on discrimination, whatever you want, and you'll be pounding the ground in 60 seconds, all right? Another thing you should think about is ground balance. You really should get a machine that has some form of ground balance, whether it's manual ground balance, automatic ground balance, or both. Sometimes they come with both, okay? Then there's prefixed or preset ground balance. Don't get a machine with preset ground balance, okay? When it's factory set, the ground balance, you can't control it, you can't change it, and it could run into problems. If you're in mineralized soil or you're on wet sand beach, these metal detectors are not good for that, and they don't really respond well to these mineralized conditions. That if you had a manual ground balance, you could stabilize your machine so it's nice and quiet, it's stable, and you can go out and you go hunting without all this chatter and all kinds of disturbing noises. Okay? Next thing you should get is some form of frequency shift. Okay? Now, if you're in an area and you're hunting and you get EMI with electromagnetic interference, okay, whether that's from power lines, cell towers, or even the metal detector next to you that your friend's swinging, okay, frequency shift will slightly nudge the frequency in different directions so you could alleviate that EMI, okay? That's very important. That could really help you out, stabilize your machine, and it doesn't matter where you hunt. I've been having problems when I first got my first machine, that couldn't hunt in a park that there was a cell tower there. My machine was chattering, giving me all kinds of false signals. It was terrible. I can't go near power lines, can't go near salty, wet sand. It just didn't work out well because I didn't have a frequency shift on my machine. Okay. VDI, which is Visual Display Interface. Now, that VDI there's a two-digit number. There's 00 to 99. Now, that is the metal detector's interpretation of what it thinks is in the ground. So, let's say my machine, a quarter, gives me a VDI number of 90. So now, I know a quarter is 90, so 6 out of 10 times, that machine's telling me it's a quarter. Most times it is a quarter. The other times it's junk, but that's just the way it is. Your machine is basically guessing, okay? Next, try to get a machine with at least 3 tones. Now, you'll have a low tone, a medium tone, and a high tone. So let's say you're hunting for silver, and you're waiting for a high tone. So you're walking around, you don't have to stare at your display. You could watch where you're going, you could be aware of your surroundings, and when you get a high tone, then you could look at the display. It'll give you a VDI number, and you could make your choice whether you're going to dig it or not. If it's a silver signal, high tone, I would dig it regardless, but you get my point. Okay? Next, try to get a machine with volume control. I'm not talking iron volume control, I'm talking the machine itself volume. Okay? And make sure you get a headphone jack on the machine. Doesn't really matter what size the headphone jack is, because you could always get an adapter for that, and you could use pretty much any headphones you want to use. All right, but you really should have volume control, because sometimes it's a hot day, it's 90 degrees out, you don't feel like wearing headphones, and you could lower the volume if you're around people in a park or people at the beach, because constant beeping and constant chatter and all the noise your machine's going to make gets annoying real fast with people who are trying to relax on the beach or in a park. Okay? Next thing, try to get a machine that will save your settings when you shut the machine off. Okay? I made that mistake on my first machine, and I would turn the machine off, I'd turn it back on, it would go back to factory defaults, and I would have to set my discrimination again every time I shut the machine off. So if I'm hunting and I hit the wrong button and I accidentally shut my machine off, now I'm back to zero. Now I got to start all over again. All right. So try to get that setting saver when you shut the machine off. It's very important. It saves you time. It definitely saves you time. But okay, these are mistakes that I've made while metal detecting, while buying a metal detector. And because I never had anybody to give me advice or, tell me what to buy or not to buy or functions I should have on my machine. So that's basically what inspired me to shoot this video, because it's very important to have some kind of direction on what kind of machine to buy. So take these little tidbits, write them down, and when you go online or in a metal detector store, you'll have some information to make an educated decision on what kind of metal detector that you should purchase. So I hope this helps. Like, comment, or subscribe. Have fun hunting and leave the ground cleaner than you found it. BCD, out.